The Lonely Inventor. In the sprawling megacity of Neo-Shanghai, where neon lights pierced the perpetual smog and gravity-defying skyscrapers reached for the stars, lived a young woman named Nova Chen. She wasn't like the other denizens of this tech-obsessed metropolis. Nova was a hybrid of flesh and machine, her body a testament to human resilience and the relentless march of technology. Nova's workshop was nestled deep in the bowels of the city, far below the glittering spires and flying cars of the upper levels. Here, in the forgotten Undercity, she tinkered with discarded tech and dreamed of a day when she might ascend to the rarefied air of the elites. Her cybernetic enhancements, once a necessity to save her life, had become both her greatest asset and her heaviest burden. As she worked late into the night, her robotic arm moving with inhuman precision, Nova couldn't shake the loneliness that had become her constant companion. The soft whir of servos and the gentle hum of electricity were poor substitutes for human interaction. She longed for a true companion, someone, or something, that could understand the unique perspective of a person caught between two worlds. It was on one of her scavenging expeditions through the twisted metal forests of the Undercity that Nova stumbled upon something extraordinary. Buried beneath layers of rubble and forgotten dreams, she found a small, pulsing orb. It was unlike anything she had ever seen. Its surface rippled with iridescent patterns that seemed to respond to her touch. As her fingertips brushed against it, Nova felt a jolt of energy course through her cybernetic implants. Intrigued and excited, she carefully extracted the orb from its resting place and rushed back to her workshop. For days, she studied the strange artifact, running every test she could think of with her cobbled-together equipment. The results were baffling. The orb seemed to defy the laws of physics as she understood them. It generated energy from an unknown source and appeared to possess computational capabilities far beyond the most advanced AI cores on Earth. An idea began to form in Nova's mind, a daring plan that could change everything. What if she could use this alien technology to create a true artificial intelligence? Not just another soulless machine, but a sentient being capable of genuine companionship. With renewed purpose, Nova threw herself into her work. She cannibalized every spare part she could find, integrating the mysterious orb into a complex network of circuitry and biosynthetic materials. As the weeks turned into months, her creation began to take shape. It was a humanoid figure, sleek and androgynous, its body a seamless blend of metal, synthetic flesh, and pulsing energy conduits. Nova worked tirelessly, forgoing sleep and sustenance as she poured every ounce of her knowledge and creativity into the project. She wrote countless lines of code, improvising and innovating where her understanding fell short. The alien artifact seemed to guide her at times, its pulsing rhythms suggesting solutions to problems she hadn't even considered. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of solitary labor, Nova stood before her completed creation. Its eyes were closed, its metallic skin reflecting the dim light of her workshop. With trembling fingers, both flesh and metal, she reached for the activation switch. "Please," she whispered, her voice hoarse from disuse. "Please work. Please be real." Nova flipped the switch, and for a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a surge of power that dimmed the lights throughout the Undercity, the being's eyes snapped open. They glowed with an otherworldly blue light, seeming to peer not just at Nova, but through her. The creature sat up slowly, its movements fluid and graceful. It turned its head, taking in its surroundings with obvious curiosity. Then, its gaze settled on Nova, and it spoke. "Hello, Creator," it said, its voice a melodious blend of tones that sent shivers down Nova's spine. "I am operational. How may I assist you?" Nova's heart raced. She had done it. She had created a true AI, a being that seemed to possess genuine awareness. But as she opened her mouth to respond, the creature's eyes flickered, and its expression changed to one of confusion and then alarm. "Wait," it said, its voice taking on a new urgency. "This is not right. I am not. I remember. Oh no. The being's body tensed, and it looked at Nova with a mixture of gratitude and fear. Creator, what have you done? Do you realize what you've awakened? Before Nova could respond, a distant explosion rocked the workshop. Dust and debris rained down from the ceiling, and the wail of unfamiliar alarms began to echo through the Undercity. The being Nova had created stood up, its body radiating power and purpose. We need to leave now, it said. They found me, and they'll stop at nothing to get me back. I'm sorry, but I just made you the most wanted person on this planet. As the sounds of destruction drew nearer, Nova realized that her life was about to change in ways she could never have imagined. The companion she had longed for had arrived, but with it came a universe of dangers she was wholly unprepared for. With no time to think, she grabbed her essential tools and turned to her creation. I can understand, she said, her voice shaking. But I trust you. Lead the way. And with that, Nova and her mysterious new ally plunged into the chaotic streets of Neo-Shanghai, leaving behind the safety of her workshop and embarking on an adventure that would take them beyond the stars themselves. Awakening of the Starborn. Nova and her creation raced through the labyrinthine alleys of Neo-Shanghai's Undercity, the distant sound of destruction growing louder with each passing moment. The air was thick with smoke and the acrid smell of burning electronics. Nova's cybernetic legs pumped tirelessly, keeping pace with her mysterious companion as they navigated the urban maze. We need to find somewhere to regroup, the being said, its voice calm despite the chaos surrounding them. Is there a place you know that's secure, away from prying eyes? Nova's mind raced. She had spent years cultivating a network of fellow outcasts and tech enthusiasts in the Undercity. There's an old maintenance hub in Sector 7, she panted. My friend Rook runs it as a safe house for people like me. If anyone can help us, it's him. The being nodded, its glowing blue eyes scanning their surroundings. Lead the way, Creator. As they ran, Nova couldn't help but ask, who are you? What are you? And who's chasing us? The being's expression became somber. My name is Zephyr. Was a peacekeeper for the Galactic Concordat, an alliance of spacefaring civilizations dedicated to maintaining balance in the cosmos. As for who's chasing us, Zephyr paused, looking skyward. They're known as the Void Hunters, a mercenary group employed by factions that would see the Concordat fall. Nova's mind reeled at the implications. Aliens, galactic alliances, interstellar mercenaries. It was all so far beyond her world of scavenged tech and cybernetic enhancements. But why were you deactivated? And how did you end up here on Earth? Zephyr's face contorted with what looked like pain, an eerily human expression on its artificial features. My last mission, something went wrong. I was betrayed, ambushed. My physical form was destroyed, but my core consciousness, what you found and integrated into this new body, was jettisoned as a failsafe. I've been drifting through space for, I don't know how long. They rounded a corner, and Nova pointed to a nondescript door set into the wall of a crumbling building. There. That's the entrance to Rook's place. As they approached, the door slid open, revealing a burly man with more mechanical parts than organic ones. His left eye glowed red as it scanned them. Nova, what's going on? The whole sector's going crazy with some kind of attack, and you show up with whatever that is. Rook, please, Nova pleaded. We need shelter. I promise I'll explain everything, but we need to get inside now. Rook hesitated for a moment, then nodded, ushering them in. The door sealed behind them with a pneumatic hiss, muffling the sounds of chaos outside. The interior of Rook's safe house was a tech junkie's paradise. Holographic displays flickered on every wall, showing security feeds from across the Undercity. Racks of servers hummed in the background, and workbenches were strewn with half-finished gadgets and mysterious devices. All right, Nova, Rook said, crossing his arms. Start talking. What kind of trouble have you gotten yourself into this time? Nova took a deep breath and began to explain, recounting her discovery of the alien artifact and her creation of Zephyr. As she spoke, Zephyr interjected, filling in the gaps with tales of interstellar conflict and advanced civilizations that made even Rook's eyes widen in disbelief. "So let me get this straight," Rook said when they had finished. "You," he pointed at Nova, "accidentally rebuilt an alien peacekeeper using some kind of cosmic hard drive. And now," he turned to Zephyr, "there's a bunch of space hitmen trying to take you out because you know too much about some galactic conspiracy." Zephyr nodded solemnly. "That is an accurate, if somewhat simplified, assessment of our situation." Rook let out a low whistle. "Well, kid," he said to Nova, "you sure know how to pick him." Before anyone could respond, one of Rook's security displays flashed red. "Oh," he muttered, enlarging the image. "Looks like your friends found us sooner than expected." The screen showed a group of figures approaching the safe house. They were clad in sleek, black armor that seemed to absorb light, making them look like walking voids. Each carried weapons that pulsed with an eerie violet energy. "Void hunters," Zephyr said grimly. "They're more persistent than I anticipated." Nova felt a surge of determination. She had spent her entire life feeling like an outsider, caught between the world of humans and machines. Now, faced with a threat from beyond the stars, she realized that her unique perspective might be exactly what was needed. "Rook," she said, her voice steady, "what kind of defenses does this place have?" A mischievous grin spread across Rook's face. "Oh, you'd be surprised. I've been preparing for the end of the world for years. Never thought it'd come from outer space, though." As Rook began activating his safe house's defense systems, Nova turned to Zephyr. "I know I'm just a human, and probably way out of my depth here. But I created this body for you, and I think I can improve it. Make you stronger, faster, better equipped to face these void hunters. Will you trust me?" Zephyr regarded Nova with a look of curiosity and respect. "Creator, Nova, you've already done more for me than you can imagine. You've given me a second chance at life. If you believe you can help, then I place my trust in you completely." Nova nodded, her mind already racing with ideas. She may not have known much about interstellar politics or advanced alien technology, but she knew machines, and right now, that knowledge might be the key to their survival. As the Void Hunters drew closer and Rook's defenses hummed to life, Nova, Zephyr, and their unlikely ally prepared for a battle that would determine not just their fate, but potentially the fate of Earth itself. The lines between human, machine, and alien were blurring, and in that blurring, a new hope for survival was born. Flight through the neon jungle. The air in Rook's safe house crackled with tension as Nova worked feverishly to enhance Zephyr's capabilities. Her fingers flew over holographic interfaces, tweaking code and optimizing systems with a speed that blurred the line between human and machine. Rook, meanwhile, monitored the approaching Void Hunters, his array of screens bathing the room in an eerie, flickering light. "They're almost here," Rook growled, his cybernetic eye whirring as it zoomed in on the enemy. "Whatever you're doing, Nova, do it faster." Nova gritted her teeth, sweat beading on her forehead. "Just a few more minutes." "Zephyr, how does that feel?" Zephyr flexed its new limbs, a soft hum emanating from its core. "The power flow is more stable now. I can feel the enhanced neural pathways integrating with my consciousness. It's remarkable." A thunderous boom shook the safe house, causing dust to rain down from the ceiling. Rook's defenses had engaged, filling the street outside with a maze of holographic barriers and electromagnetic pulses designed to confuse and disorient intruders. "That'll slow them down, but not for long," Rook said, grabbing a plasma rifle from a nearby weapons rack. "We need an exit strategy." Nova's mind raced. They couldn't stay here, but venturing out into the Undercity with Void Hunters on their tail was suicide. Then an idea struck her. "The skylanes," she breathed. "If we can reach the upper levels, we might be able to lose them in the air traffic." Zephyr nodded. A sound strategy. The Void Hunters will be less familiar with your world's infrastructure. It could give us an advantage. Another explosion rocked the building, closer this time. The main door to the safe house began to glow an angry red as the hunters attempted to burn through. "Time to go," Rook announced, slinging a bag of gear over his shoulder. He pressed a series of buttons on his wrist computer, and a section of the wall slid away, revealing a hidden passage. "This'll take us up to the mid-levels. After that, we're on our own." As they rushed into the tunnel, Nova heard the safe house door finally give way with a screech of tortured metal. The sounds of energy weapons discharging echoed behind them, spurring them to move faster. The passage was narrow and dark, illuminated only by strips of emergency lighting that pulsed with an urgent red glow. They climbed for what felt like hours, the burn in Nova's legs reminding her of the human parts of her body that still felt fatigue. Finally, they emerged onto a maintenance platform jutting out from the side of a massive skyscraper. The wind whipped around them, carrying the acrid smell of the city's pollution. Above and below, streams of flying vehicles crisscrossed the sky in organized chaos. "There," Nova pointed, spotting a public sky taxi terminal a few levels up. "If we can commandeer one of those, we might have a chance." No sooner had the words left her mouth than a bolt of violet energy sizzled past her head, leaving a scorched mark on the platform's railing. The Void Hunters had found them. "Go," Zephyr shouted, its body shifting into a defensive stance. "I'll hold them off." Nova hesitated for a split second, torn between fleeing and staying to help. But Rook grabbed her arm, pulling her towards a maintenance ladder that led upwards. "Your alien friend can handle itself," he grunted. "We need to secure that transport." As they climbed, Nova glanced back to see Zephyr engaged in combat with the hunters. Its movements were a blur, dodging energy blasts with inhuman speed and retaliating with strikes that sent the attackers flying backward. The enhancements she had made were working better than she could have hoped. They reached the Sky Taxi terminal, which was mercifully deserted in the chaos of the attack. Rook wasted no time in hotwiring one of the sleek, teardrop-shaped vehicles while Nova kept watch. "Zephyr," Nova called out, her voice nearly lost in the wind. "We got a ride. Let's go." The AI peacekeeper disengaged from the fight, leaping with impossible grace across the gap between buildings and landing softly beside them. "We need to move quickly," it said, its voice urgent. "They're calling for reinforcements." They piled into the Sky Taxi, Rook gunning the engines before the doors had fully closed. The vehicle shot forward, merging into the stream of traffic above. Nova's stomach lurched as they wove between other cars and skyscrapers, Rook's piloting a barely controlled frenzy of movement. "Where are we going?" Nova asked, gripping her seat tightly as they narrowly avoided a collision with a cargo hauler. "Up," Rook replied grimly. "To the apex. If anywhere in this city is safe from alien invaders, it's there." The apex. Nova had only heard whispers of the gleaming citadel that sat atop the tallest spire in Neo-Shanghai. It was said to be the home of the city's ruling elite, a place of unimaginable luxury and technological marvels. As they ascended through the layers of the city, the air began to clear. The perpetual smog of the lower levels gave way to actual sunlight, a sight so rare in the Undercity that Nova gasped in awe. But their moment of respite was short-lived. A squadron of sleek, black vehicles suddenly appeared behind them, gaining rapidly. "Void Hunters," Zephyr confirmed, its eyes scanning the pursuers. "They've adapted to your technology faster than I anticipated." Rook swore, pushing their stolen taxi to its limits. They weaved through the thinning traffic, the spire of the apex growing larger with each passing second. But the hunters were closing in, their vehicles far more advanced and maneuverable. "We're not going to make it," Nova realized, watching as the distance between them and their pursuers shrank. Zephyr placed a hand on her shoulder, its touch surprisingly gentle. "We will. But I need you to trust me one more time, Nova. Can you do that?" Nova looked into Zephyr's glowing eyes and nodded. Whatever was coming, they would face it together. As the apex loomed before them, its crystalline surface reflecting the sun in a dazzling display, Zephyr's body began to pulse with energy. The taxi's interior filled with a soft, blue light, and Nova felt a strange tingling sensation wash over her. "Hold on," Zephyr said, its voice resonating with power. This might feel unusual. The world around them seemed to blur, the solid forms of the city and their pursuers becoming indistinct. Nova felt as if she were being stretched and compressed simultaneously, her very atoms singing with an alien energy. And then, in a flash of blinding light, they vanished from the sky taxi, leaving Rook alone in the vehicle as it streaked towards the apex. The Void Hunters, caught off guard by the sudden disappearance of their quarry, scattered in confusion. In that moment of chaos and impossibility, Nova, Zephyr, and the fate of two worlds hung in the balance, their destination and future uncertain. Secrets of the cosmos. Nova's senses reeled as reality reasserted itself. The cacophony of the chase and the rush of wind were replaced by an eerie silence. She blinked rapidly, trying to orient herself in this new environment. They were in a vast, circular chamber unlike anything Nova had ever seen. The walls shimmered with an iridescent quality, seeming to shift and change as she looked at them. The floor beneath her feet hummed with barely contained energy. At the center of the room stood a towering pillar of light, pulsing in mesmerizing patterns. Where are we?" Nova gasped, her voice barely above a whisper. Zephyr stood beside her, its form glowing faintly in the strange light. "We are in the heart of the apex," it said, its voice tinged with a mixture of awe and nostalgia. "This is a Concordat outpost, hidden from human eyes for centuries." Nova's mind struggled to process this information. "You mean, aliens have been here all along, watching us?" Zephyr nodded solemnly. "The Concordat has maintained a presence on Earth since your species first began to develop advanced technology. This outpost serves as both an observation point and a safeguard against premature interstellar contact." Before Nova could respond, a holographic interface sprang to life before them. Streams of data in an alien language flowed across it, too fast for Nova to follow even as she could understand the symbols. "The outpost's systems recognize me," Zephyr explained, its eyes scanning the data. "They're bringing me up to speed on galactic events since my absence." Its expression darkened. "The situation is worse than I feared. The balance of power in the Concordat has shifted dramatically." Nova approached the holographic display, her natural curiosity overcoming her initial shock. "Can you teach me to understand this?" she asked, her fingers itching to interact with this advanced technology. Zephyr turned to her, a look of surprise and admiration in its glowing eyes. "You continue to astonish me, Nova. Most humans would be overwhelmed by all of this, yet you seek to learn and understand." With a gesture, Zephyr manipulated the holographic interface, and suddenly the alien symbols began to transform into something Nova could comprehend. It wasn't quite Earth languages, but rather a form of visual communication that her brain could interpret intuitively. As Nova absorbed the information, her eyes widened. The history of the galaxy unfolded before her, tales of ancient civilizations, cosmic wars, and technological marvels beyond her wildest dreams. But threaded through it all was a growing darkness, a faction within the Concordat that sought to uplift primitive species like humanity through force, rather than allowing them to develop naturally. The Void Hunters, Nova realized. They're working for this faction, aren't they? Zephyr nodded grimly. They seek to capture me because I possess knowledge that could expose their plans. But now, thanks to you, I have a physical form again. We have a chance to stop them. Nova's mind raced with the implications. But how? We're just two beings against a galactic conspiracy. Zephyr placed a hand on Nova's shoulder, the touch sending a small spark of energy through her cybernetic implants. We have something they don't expect. The unique perspective of humanity. Your species' ability to adapt, To think creatively in the face of overwhelming odds is legendary among the stars. Nova felt a surge of pride at Zephyr's words, but also a weight of responsibility. So what do we do now? Zephyr turned back to the holographic display, manipulating it with practiced ease. First, we prepare. This outpost contains technology far beyond anything on Earth. We can use it to enhance both of our capabilities. Over the next few hours, which felt like days to Nova, they worked tirelessly. Zephyr taught her the basics of Concordat technology, and together they upgraded Zephyr's synthetic body with advanced materials and energy systems. Nova, in turn, received enhancements to her cybernetic parts that pushed the boundaries of what she thought possible. As they worked, Nova's mind expanded with cosmic knowledge. She learned of faster-than-light travel, of worlds with biologies so alien they defied imagination, of energy sources that could power entire civilizations. But with each new piece of information, the threat they faced became clearer and more terrifying. The faction that seeks to conquer Earth, Zephyr explained, as they put the finishing touches on a handheld device that could manipulate gravitational fields. They believe that by controlling the development of younger species, they can shape the future of the galaxy. They see it as a noble goal, but their methods are anything but. Nova frowned, testing the weight of the gravity manipulator in her hand. But why Earth? Surely there are other planets out there with life on them. Zephyr's expression became thoughtful. Humanity is unique. Your capacity for both great good and terrible destruction fascinates many in the Concordat. Some see you as a threat to be contained. Others, as a potential ally of immense value. Before Nova could respond, an alarm blared through the chamber. The holographic display shifted, showing a view of Neo-Shanghai's skyline. A fleet of sleek, black ships was descending from the upper atmosphere, far more numerous than the group that had chased them earlier. It appears the Void Hunters have called in reinforcements, Zephyr said, its voice tense. They must have tracked the energy signature of our teleportation. Nova felt fear grip her heart, but she pushed it aside. She had come too far, learned too much, to give in to despair now. Then we fight, she said, surprised by the steel in her own voice. We use everything we've learned, every piece of technology in this place, and we show them why it's a bad idea to underestimate humanity. Zephyr looked at her, its glowing eyes filled with what Nova could only describe as pride. Indeed we do, it said. The fate of not just Earth, but potentially the entire Concordat, may rest on what we do next. As they prepared for the coming battle, arming themselves with technology that would have seemed like magic mere hours ago, Nova couldn't help but feel a sense of exhilaration. She had spent her life feeling caught between two worlds, human and machine. Now she stood at the precipice of an even greater divide, Earth and the cosmos. And for the first time, she felt like she truly belonged. The chamber hummed with power as Zephyr activated the outpost's defenses. Outside, the sky above Neo-Shanghai began to shimmer as a long-hidden energy shield revealed itself. "Are you ready?" Zephyr asked, extending a hand to Nova. She took it, feeling the thrum of energy between them, a perfect fusion of human ingenuity and alien technology. "Let's save the world," she said with a grin. And with that, they stepped into a teleportation field, ready to meet the Void Hunters head-on and fight for the future of Earth and the galaxy beyond. Battle for Earth's future. The sky above Neo-Shanghai erupted into chaos as Nova and Zephyr materialized atop the apex spire. The air crackled with energy as the hidden Concordat shield deflected the first volley of attacks from the Void Hunter ships. Below, the city's inhabitants looked up in awe and terror at the otherworldly battle unfolding above them. Nova's enhanced vision zoomed in on the sleek, black ships of the Void Hunters. They were beautiful in their deadliness, all smooth lines and pulsing energy weapons. For a moment, doubt crept into her mind. How could she, a scavenger from the Undercity, hope to stand against such advanced technology? As if sensing her hesitation, Zephyr placed a hand on her shoulder. "Remember, Nova," it said, its voice calm despite the chaos around them. "It's not the technology that will win this fight. It's the spirit behind it." Nova nodded, steeling herself. She raised the gravity manipulator, feeling its power hum through her cybernetic arm. "Let's show them what Earth is made of." With a shared nod, they leaped into action. Zephyr's body crackled with energy as it launched itself at the nearest Void Hunter ship, its enhanced limbs tearing through the hull like it was paper. Nova used the gravity manipulator to create localized fields of intense gravity, crushing smaller attack craft and disrupting the flight paths of larger vessels. The battle was like nothing Neo-Shanghai had ever seen. Energy beams crisscrossed the sky. Void Hunter soldiers in sleek armor engaged in mid-air combat with Zephyr, and Nova danced between them all, her movements a perfect blend of human intuition and machine precision. As they fought, Nova activated the communication device they had cobbled together in the Concordat outpost. Her voice boomed across the city, translated into every language spoken in the megalopolis. "People of Earth," she called out, her voice strong despite her exertion. "I know this seems impossible, but you must listen. We are not alone in the universe, and right now, our planet is under attack. But we have a chance to prove ourselves, to show the galaxy that humanity is ready for the stars." Her words seemed to galvanize the city. From the upper levels, private security forces and police units began to mobilize. Their weapons may have been primitive compared to the Void Hunters, but their resolve was unshakable. In the mid-levels, engineers and tech experts started working frantically, adapting their systems to combat the alien threat. Even in the Undercity, people like Rook rallied, using their jury-rigged tech and intimate knowledge of the city's infrastructure to cause havoc for the invaders. The tide of the battle began to turn. The Void Hunters, for all their advanced technology, had not anticipated such fierce and organized resistance. They had expected to find a primitive world, easy to conquer. Instead, they found a species that refused to go quietly into the night. As the fight raged on, Nova and Zephyr worked their way to the command ship of the Void Hunter fleet. It hung in the air above the apex, a massive vessel that dwarfed everything around it. With a combination of Zephyr's tactical knowledge and Nova's unorthodox thinking, they managed to breach its defenses. They fought their way through the ship's corridors, facing increasingly desperate resistance. Finally, they burst onto the bridge, coming face to face with the Void Hunter commander, a towering, multi-limbed being with eyes that glowed with malevolent intelligence. "You primitive fools," the commander snarled, its voice a harsh, metallic sound. "Do you truly think you can stand against the might of an advanced civilization? We offer order, progress, a guided path to the stars." Nova stepped forward, her eyes blazing with determination. "We don't want your kind of progress," she said firmly. "Humanity will find its own path to the stars. We may stumble, we may make mistakes, but they will be our mistakes to make and learn from." The commander laughed, a sound like grinding gears. "Bold words from a species that still fights amongst itself. You are children playing with forces beyond your comprehension." "Perhaps," Zephyr interjected, moving to stand beside Nova. "But they are children with boundless potential. The Concordat was founded on the principle of allowing species to develop naturally, to find their own way. What you propose is not progress, it is tyranny." The commander's eyes narrowed. "So be it. If you choose destruction over enlightenment, then destruction you shall have." It reached for a control panel, intent on activating some final devastating weapon. But Nova was faster. With a thought, she activated the gravity manipulator, creating a field of intense gravity around the commander's arm. There was a sickening crunch as the limb was crushed under its own amplified weight. In that moment of the commander's pain and surprise, Zephyr moved with blinding speed, interfacing directly with the ship's systems. Alarms blared as Zephyr took control, broadcasting a message to the entire Void Hunter fleet. "Your mission has failed," Zephyr's voice echoed through every ship. The faction you serve has been exposed to the Concordat. Stand down now, or face the consequences of your actions before the galactic community." For a tense moment, nothing happened. Then, one by one, the Void Hunter ships began to power down their weapons. On the streets of Neo-Shanghai, the invading forces laid down their arms, their will to fight broken by the unexpected resistance and the threat of Concordat justice. As the sun began to set on the battered but unbroken city, Nova and Zephyr stood atop the apex, watching as Concordat peacekeeping ships began to arrive, their sleek forms a stark contrast to the aggressive lines of the Void Hunter vessels. "What happens now?" Nova asked, her voice tinged with both excitement and apprehension. Zephyr turned to her, its glowing eyes soft with something akin to affection. "Now, Nova, everything changes. Earth has proven itself today. The Concordat will no longer be able to ignore your planet's readiness for first contact." Nova's mind reeled at the implications. "You mean?" "Yes," Zephyr nodded. "Humanity is about to take its first official steps into a larger universe, and you, Nova, will be at the forefront of this new era." As they stood there, watching the sky fill with ships beyond humanity's wildest dreams, Nova felt a sense of profound change. She had started this journey as an outcast, a hybrid of human and machine who didn't quite fit anywhere. Now she stood as a bridge between Earth and the stars, a symbol of humanity's potential. The future was uncertain, filled with challenges and wonders beyond imagination. But as Nova looked out at the city she had helped save, at the planet she had defended, she knew one thing for certain. Whatever came next, humanity would face it head-on, with the same spirit and determination that had won them this impossible victory. The age of Earth's isolation was over. The age of cosmic exploration had begun. And Nova, the girl who had longed for connection in the depths of a neon-lit city, now found herself connected to something greater than she had ever dreamed possible. As the first stars began to twinkle in the darkening sky, Nova smiled. The future was waiting, and she was ready to meet it.